Good afternoon. So it's a great honor for me to speak to you this hot day. Sorry for technical misunderstandings. Sometimes you have it. So as a person, I like to keep discussions interactive. I hate monologues, so I rather prefer, so to say, discussion and you know, the questions which you would find interesting to you. So I would present my point of view with unique Lithuanian experience bringing into European Union and how Lithuania is enriching, how is using this tool of cultural diplomacy, being an active member of European Union. So we called our presentation today Culture, Cooperation and Common Values. Yes, like this. So Lithuania is used to be the continent of ongoing conflicts. Last 2,000 years, and we faced two cruel wars in 20th century, World War I, World War II. European nations tried to create a system which would secure the peace and prosperity before the Second World War. We failed, unfortunately, and on the ruins of the Second World War, European nations, former rivals, tried to build something more secure, more sustainable. First, as the economical project of the steel and coal, rather on the later on the economic. But from very beginning, the culture, the values used to play a very important role. So we often say that European Union is not just union of the profit or the single market, but also the union of the values. And those are very important elements because they are helping to secure sustainable peace. And it built on the some say 6 main topics or values like the freedom, democracy, human rights, equality, and the rule of law. Europe and European continent is a very colorful one. As you know, we are 27 very different experiences, very different cultures. So culture helps us to find the universal languages inside of the European Union, to know who are in this family, what kind of what countries represents the European Union, that help us to speak one voice and represent this unique European project. At the same time, it helps to build the bridges between the communities, between the people, and project Lithuanian European values externally in our neighborhood. So we say that European Union united in diversity. From one side, we are speaking about same values. At the same time, European Union facilitate of your national culture to go you stronger, to present yourself, not just trying to create something, you know, European, which is have no roots and they have no tradition in the past. So European Union is united in diversity, and that's also a very important element while looking into the future. So, some words about our Lithuanian experience. Lithuania is not a young state. We created our state in the middle of 13th century. Interestingly enough, Lithuania is the last pagan country of Europe, discovered very late in the 13th century. Some call Germans our Columbus, because they discovered us in those dense forests of northern eastern Europe, and baptized just in the end of 14th century, West Lithuania even later, in the beginning of 15th century. Lithuania used to be a mighty country in the Middle Ages and called land Vikings. So we used to be even the biggest state in the Europe, can you believe it, in 15th century. And because of external threat, Lithuanian nobility tried to find the ways how to stop the threat of coming from the east, mainly from the Russian state, Muscovite Duchy. So we forged the Commonwealth of two states, and we living with Poland in the country of two nations, two states, from the mid of 16th century to the end of 18th century. Unfortunately, internal weakness allowed or facilitate aggressive neighbor countries to divide the state. So we spent all 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century occupied by the Russian Empire. We used to have 20 years of the break between two world wars, which used to be very important to us, and then after the 1944, one more time, this time occupation of the Soviet Union. So for many European nations, Second World War ended in 45, for Lithuania in 93, when the last Soviet soldier left Lithuanian territory. So 19th century and half of the 20th century used to be very difficult for Lithuanian state, and what helped us to survive. So of course, strong cultural identity, religion, national language, and strong communal connections. So in the 18th century, even the name of Lithuania was prohibited. From Lithuania, we started to be called Northern Eastern Province of the Russia. So they tried to ban Lithuanian language and Latin script for half of the century. So Lithuania used to have a unique movement of the smugglers, which smuggled the books from the Eastern Prussia to Lithuania and secured in the and underground schools, learning of Lithuanian language and the literature. So in the 19th century, the life was hard. The 20th century was not easy at all. So the same Russification, national traditions, and with all this experience, Lithuania came to the late of 20th century, and Lithuania used to be the first country of former Soviet Union which declared independence. So why I'm taking so much time explaining all this? Lithuanians are staunch supporters of freedom fighters, not just in the neighborhood but worldwide. So we have a lot of empathy for the countries and the nations which are fighting for freedom. So we have a lot of understanding for the countries which used to be the colonies of the mightier countries. You can call Lithuania used to be the Russian colony or the Soviet Union. Freedom, solidarity, freedom of expression plays a very important role to the modern Lithuania. And I will tell you later how this reflects in the present history. In the difficult times of the Soviet occupation, Europe played a major role of strengthening our identity and preparing us for the jump in the future. So to survive in such a hard conditions, you have to have idea which would help you to survive. So Europe was playing the idea of the Europe not as geographical entity but the kind of civilization, human rights, the values, economical system. So that helped us a lot. And in the Soviet times we used to have underground movement, probably the only in the former Soviet Union which was bringing the illegal books from the West, sharing the knowledge. Young Lithuanian people used to be listening the American or free European radio, Voice of America, different stuff. So we kind of living in this partisan mood, but but dreaming about the possibility, for the future. And we saw it in '89. So you probably heard about Baltic Way, when 3 Baltic nations connected the hands from Vilnius to Tallinn, 600 kilometers, more than 2 million people, showing from one side the criminal character of pre-war agreement between the Nazi Russia and the Soviet Union, side showing the willingness to become the part of the Soviet of the European Union, and Lithuanians used to be staunch supporters of the European Union, and we still are. And this chart is showing you how we invested time and money. So Lithuanian GDP since 2004, when Lithuania, after negotiations with the former members, joined the European Union in 2004, so our GDP grew more than 3 times. So in 2004, our GDP per capita was roughly 45 of European Union average. Now all Lithuanians 90, Vilnius is 120. So it's probably the fastest growing economical project. And that, not just bringing the very different possibilities for your businesses, for your people, but also the being part of a unique community of European nations. So Lithuanians are one of the biggest enthusiasts of the European Union, and that is good. So in difficult times, when we are living in the turbulent times, and sometimes we are not certain in ourselves, in our future, in our values. Some nations used to be not so lucky as we are, and now Ukraine is facing the 4th year in the war, full invasion. So Lithuania is one of the biggest supporters of Ukrainian ambition to become the member of European Union and NATO. This is important, and a country which is sacrificing the life of fellow citizens. They have a narrative, they have an idea, they have a vision. I would say that for Ukraine, joining the European Union is the civilization and choice. This is important to stress. So Lithuania is not just a very successful country of tradition of one of the newest members of European Union, but we are an inspiration for the countries in neighborhood. Then being a member of this unique community, which I already mentioned, is not the community of like a single market and the economical aspects, but also the community of the values. So we are also serving as the bridge between the West and the East, presenting those universal values to our neighborhood, the countries in the West from Lithuania. Of course, culture plays a very important role in the present Lithuanian state, and cultural diplomacy as one of the tools. I've mentioned that Lithuania had been vanished from the map of Europe for good of 50 years, and the knowledge about Lithuania in the Western Europe is rather limited. As we speak here in Germany, situation is the same. So we see in the possibility of presenting our culture, our history, our tradition is a very efficient tool to be understood, to be supported, not just in the times of the peace, but also in the need, if Lithuanian will need to be supported in the security matters. So it's very important to have understanding between the nations, between the states, And if you are not known, then you have the problem. So Lithuania is trying to change it. So 2013, Lithuania used to be for the first time played the presidency role in the European Council. 2027, in the first half, Lithuania would do it the second time. And for Lithuania is excellent time to present our culture, our education, our science, our history, and we are going to do this. Of course, cultural diplomacy, the task for the diplomats which are not just busy with political agenda, economical issues, but also with the culture. So being here in Germany, we are trying to be active, good communicators and exporters of the Lithuanian culture. So Germany is the big country with 16 federal states, 86 million people. So we had full hand of the job to showing ourselves and some time to present the old forgotten neighbor of the Germany. So. We have good experiences of different forms of presentation of ourselves. So one of those used to be in France, Lithuanian season, when Lithuania presented in more than 400 different events, Lithuanian culture. Next year we are going to organize Lithuanian Year in Germany, presenting not just Lithuanian culture here in Berlin, probably in Potsdam as well, but in different federal states and the capitals, but also the culture, also the economical achievements on cooperation, also the organizing different politological round tables. So in our daily life, culture is playing a crucial role. We do have the cultural attaché here in Germany. We have several of those in different European and not just European capitals, and this network serves as a very useful tool to present our culture, our ambitions, and the willingness to cooperate with our international partners. So that's some examples of how Lithuania tries to use this useful instrument presenting our culture. So Lithuania is powerhouse of the theater. We have an excellent tradition of the filmmaking, visual arts, modern dance. A lot of interesting heritage, literature, different part of our present and modern culture. So that was my short introduction. I hope that you would have many questions,
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. To start with the Q&A.
Hello, my name is Giedrius Puodžiūnas. I'm from Kazakhstan. I'll be speaking a bit later. I did visit Vilnius last year. And very happy to discover your country. And in my university, we did a cooperation with the Mykolas Romeris University, which actually was very successful because they're unique in having programs in law in English language, which is actually quite rare for Europe, which enables for dual-degree cooperation. So my question is, what about your country's cooperation with Kazakhstan and Central Asia generally? What is the strategy there?
Yeah, thank you for the good question. Of course, we have some historical traditions and the links. We used to live in the same state for the 50 years, so we still have good traditions and connections. I would say that we are looking for different type of the possibilities. I would not say that we have some specific strategy to present our culture in Middle Asia or somewhere in Far East. It's more like universal codes and some ideas which could be interesting to our partners, presenting the diversity to possible partners. So it's not like the concept shaped specifically for the region. I would say, all the partnership for us is interesting because Lithuania is not really a big country, just of the 3 million. So for us to be understood, to be recognized, to be seen is important. Not just for the culture. Culture serves us as the link between the states and the nations. And if you are better understood, then you have I would say the facilitation for the economical cooperation, for political cooperation, because culture is the universal language. Sometimes we have very different traditions, very different languages, very different cultures, very different traditions, but culture is universal language, which helps you just to engage, and that's a very important one. So I'm happy that we are finding ways to the minds and hearts of the friends in Kazakhstan.
Who's next?
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. My name is Arlette. I'm from the Netherlands, and I'm curious. I saw in one of your slides that there is going to be a lot of Lithuanian action in Germany, but as your friendly neighbor on the other side, at least as Germany's friendly neighbor, what does that look like in the rest of Europe? Can we enjoy Lithuanian film or music or perhaps food or drinks or anything else? So what does this look like, these cultural events, and what does it look like for the rest of Europe?
Yeah, so I mentioned this specifically Lithuanian year in Germany because I'm based in Germany, so that's my basic interest. But of course, because of Lithuanian presence in European Council, we are organizing different type of the events in different countries, and we have a very active ambassador in Den Haag. So I hope that he would bring what's the best from our culture, so to say. And we have very interesting connections with the Netherlands. For example, wooden shoes, which you call klumpen, it's a klumpens in Lithuania is the same. Nice. So probably that's your legacy in Lithuania. So different traditions, different things, and different forgotten, interesting historical connections. Not just history, but also modern culture, because Lithuania is known to being quickly creative, very digitalized, and a modern country. So I hope that our embassy would prepare a nice program, at least in the first half of the 27th, something beautiful to show too. The same, we as the Lithuanians, we are keen and interesting to experience your culture. So I hope that Dutch embassy in Vilnius is doing the same.
You're welcome in The Hague.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, Professor. My name is Sandeep. I'm a master's student here at ICD. I'm from India. During the break, I had a short conversation with Professor Bruckner about the rising trends of populism and nationalism all over Europe. And how fortunate then directly after this break, we have the Lithuanian ambassador, whose country recently saw a change wherein I think a right-wing or an extremist right-wing party was kind of let go from the ruling coalition. And now I think the ruling coalition is mostly centrist, correct me if I'm wrong. Do you have any comment on this trend, number one? And number two, about what countries like Lithuania and then also Spain, I would say, to some extent, have to show to other countries in Europe about how to combat this rising trend of nationalism and populism?
Yes, thank you for a good question. I would say that two main factors of the present days play a crucial role. The first one is economical development. Until you are successful, no one is interested in those type of the things. When you start to stagnate or so to say not develop, then you face the problems. And this is important, but not easy to do always, to grow. Because Lithuania used to grow last 20 years enormously. I mentioned the numbers, and that is reflected in the numbers of Lithuania being very pro-European, very supportive. The second issue is, of course, social networks. Because world is very quickly and complex. No one understands what is going on, and people are looking for simple answers for the difficult questions, and they are finding those in the social networks. Sometimes they have nothing to do with the reality. So all those theories and something like this. So it's very important to invest into critical thinking, into education, to distinguish, who is who and why. So, of course, name me the only one, the successful populist project. They are ready to grab the power, but they are not ready to solve your problems. So, people are ready, sociologists are saying that if you would give for the voter to choose between the rod and the fish, they will go for fish. So they are looking for easy questions, for easy answers. And for this, to have sustainable development, you have to invest into the resilience, not just critical infrastructure, but mainly to the society. It's a very important issue, because democracy is the task not just for the elites, but task is for all the nation. We should understand that democracies work like this. You have not just right, you have also responsibilities. So it's our modern, very complex, very difficult world. Is education plays a crucial role. It's not just for European Union, it's worldwide, because we are kind of one globe. Until you are successful economically, until you invest into resilience in your narrative, in your story, you are resilient. I would say that Lithuania is resilient because of the things I spent some 5-10 minutes telling you about. So we are a good example how much free, democratic, and ambitious nation can achieve. Also by numbers.
Thank you, Ambassador, for attending our program and speaking. We all appreciate it very much. I am also a student here at ICD, and my question is a little more geopolitical. I wanted to ask, Lithuania is in a very specific, crucial position, both politically and geographically, as both an EU nation and a NATO member, bordering, or one of the first nations to border a very aggressive nation, an aggressive neighbor. What challenges has aroused out of these events, and what strategies has Lithuania utilized to navigate the specific geopolitical situation that you find yourself in? That is my question.
Yeah, that's the good question. Those changing circumstances and rapidly changing of the security architecture of the European Union. So, Lithuania tried to be neutral before the Second World War. Didn't really work out, because to be neutral you have to have guarantees of the mighty neighboring states. So Lithuania failed, was Latvia and Estonia have been occupied in 1940s, and after regaining our independence in 1990, for us was very clear that we want to be of something bigger, where we could develop in the peace and sustainably. And two geopolitical projects, European Union and NATO. European Union, I'm sure the numbers, so we invested time and money wisely, and we have the result. Second wish was, of course, NATO, which was difficult task, but we achieved it, because we Lithuanians, we are doers. When we want something, we concentrate and we do, and we achieve what we want. So at that time, before 2004, I would say we knew about Article number 5 of North Atlantic Treaty. No one was taking really seriously or care of Article number 3, which says that you have to be ready to defend yourself and your allies will come to support you. So after 2014, when Russia occupied Crimea, Lithuania started to realize of the rapidly changing geopolitical reality, and we started to invest into our defense rapidly. So Lithuania is in this dynamics of investing into our defense in the NATO is number one. Now Lithuania invests into defense 5.38% of our GDP. So it's also the number one in whole NATO. So we are doing our homework, but NATO is an organization which is based on the principle of let's call it three musketeers. One for all for one. So we are mighty in NATO, is the most successful alliance in the human history, and hopefully will stay like this. So it's not just rely on something, as we used to say in the past, that you should be not just consumer but also provider. So Lithuania is also provider. And that is how it works. We do our homework, and we are ready to engage with our partners. When other nations are in the need, we follow the request. For example, Lithuania being a fresh member of the NATO, we used to be in Afghanistan with the US taking care of whole province. So, even small nations can be useful, bringing the different experience and our, so to say, capabilities to use for the joint sake.
All right. Thank you very much, Excellency, for an excellent presentation and for taking the time to answer all the different questions. Join me again in a round of applause.